Hello my students, how are you? Welcome back. I'm Miss Dima. Today our lesson from Module 6, Places, Song. Now, as usual, we have to start with our super reader words. Are you ready to read? Okay, let's start. What's the first word? Haven't, haven't. Parks, parks. City, city. Flower, flower. Excellent, my students. Let's see what we have next. Now, what are our skills for today? Yeah, look at the pictures. Listening and speaking. Okay, my students, let's see what we have next. Okay, my students, before we have our lesson, song, we have to learn new words. Are you ready? Okay, let's go. What's the first picture? Yeah, look well. What can you see? Excellent. It's Doha, city. Doha is in our country. Yes, I love Doha city. I love Qatar. Excellent. Now let's see what we have next. Okay. What can you see? Yeah, it's a place in Qatar. Yeah, it's an Islamic art museum. Museum. Repeat, my students. Museum. Now let's see what we have next. Okay, what can you see? Yeah. Where do you go on weekends? Yeah, parks. Park. Park. Can you name a park in Qatar? Yeah, there are many parks in Qatar, like Aspire Park. Excellent. Now let's see what we have next. Okay. My students, I want you to open your workbook. Page 79. Activity what? 1. Are you ready? Have you opened your workbook? Okay, let's go. Now, my students, what can you see? Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, we can see 3 places. Read at the top. Read the words. Parks, school, museum. Okay, what will we do here? You have to look at the pictures and write the word. Okay, the first one is done. So I will give you enough time to do number 2 and number 3. Are you ready? Okay, go. Have you finished, my students? Okay, let's check your answers. Park, we have to put S. I have to put S. Add S to park. Next, what we have? Yeah, it's a museum. Museum. Excellent, my students. Now let's see what we have next. Okay, what can you see here? Okay, there are many places. Excellent. Okay, now my students, Can you tell me what is the song about? Okay, now my students, we will listen for the first time to check your guessing. Are you ready? Let's go.
2. Listen and match. Then say. My city.
This is my city, this is my city. Come and see my beautiful city. There is a museum, and there's a big school. There are green parks, we can play and run. Let's go and have some fun. This is my city. This is my city. This is my city. This is my city.
Now my students, let's check prediction. The song is talking about, places. Excellent, my students. Now my students, I want you to open your student's book, page 85. Activity 2. Have you opened your student's book? Okay. Now my students, here's the song. Now I want you to listen and match, then say. Okay? Are you ready? Okay, let's listen to the song for the second time.
2. Listen and match. Then say. My city.
This is my city. This is my city. Come and see my beautiful city. There is a museum, and there's a big school. There are green parks, we can play and run. Let's go and have some fun. This is my city. This is my city. This is my city. This is my city.
Now my students, let's check answers, okay? A, there's a big school. B, there is a museum. What about C? There are green parks. Excellent, my students. Great job. My students, I will tell you something about using there are and there is. Okay? I use there are when I'm talking about more than one. Okay? There are green parks. There are 2 green parks. Okay? There is a big school. Or I can say there's a big school. I use there's when I'm talking about only one thing. Okay, my students, now let's see what we have next. I want you to go to activity 3, student book, page 85. It's a speaking activity, my students. Now, what we will do here? Yes, what will we do here? We will talk about our city, okay? You have to practice with a family member. Okay, let's practice a little bit. In my city, there is a museum. The other boy? There are 2 parks. Okay, my students, let's practice more and more using there are and there's. Okay? In my city, there are 2 schools. In my city, there are 2 schools. There are 3 parks. There are 3 parks. In Qatar, there are many parks. Look over there. What I have to use? Yeah. There is. There is a mall. There's a mall. Great job, my students. Remember, you have to practice speaking with a family member using the same pictures or different pictures. It's homework time, my students. Now, your homework for today is to say a sentence about your city. Of course, Doha City. And send a voice message to your teacher on Teams. Okay, my students? That's all for today, my students. Have a nice day. Goodbye.